We voted. You're out of the reunion. My father smiled cruelly. Then don't expect my $7,000 to cover your trip to Italy next month, I said as I blocked his card. Sit down, my sister said, already grinning. We need to talk. I hadn't even taken off my coat yet. The family group chat had said family meeting at 6, but no one told me why. Now I was standing in the middle of my parents' living room, still holding the gift basket I brought like some fool. My mom gave me a tight smile from the armchair. Dad was sipping wine on the couch, legs crossed, too comfortable. My brother sat near the window, scrolling his phone, pretending he wasn't in on it. What is this? I asked slowly, already feeling the shift in the air. Did someone die? No, my father said, placing his glass down with a little too much ceremony. We had a vote. About the reunion. What vote? I asked. You're out, he said flatly. We've decided it's best if you don't come to Tuscany with us next month. The room went silent. I blinked. You're joking. No, my sister said. She was practically glowing. We just think it's best. For the group dynamic. I let out a short breath through my nose. Group dynamic? You're always so tense, she continued. You make things stressful. Last year, remember how you argued with the waiter about the service charge? You embarrassed Mom. Because they added an extra €80 to the bill. I snapped. I was the only one who noticed. You're welcome, by the way. We just want peace this year, Mom said softly, not meeting my eyes. I looked at them. All three of them. The ones I'd booked the flights for. The ones who texted me 2 weeks ago asking if I'd mind covering the villa deposit. Just until your dad's bonus comes in. That was $7,000, charged on my card, same day. They'd send emojis after. Let me get this straight, I said slowly. You're kicking me out of the trip I planned. The one I paid for. You offered, my dad said, shrugging. I didn't offer to be excluded from it. Well, my sister said, crossing her legs like a judge in court, you've been really uptight lately. All your little boundaries and budgets. You've changed. My laugh was short and bitter. Yeah, I started saying no. She ignored that. This is supposed to be fun, and honestly, you ruin the vibe. Ruin the vibe, I repeated. You mean I stop you from drinking €18 spritzes on my card all day? You're overreacting, Mom cut in. Don't make this ugly. Oh, I won't. I pulled out my phone calmly, opened the travel account linked to the trip. Dad's phone buzzed on the coffee table. What was that? He muttered, picking it up. That was me blocking the travel card, I said. The one I used to book your tickets, your hotels, and that villa in Tuscany with the pool you just had to have. You know, the one none of you paid me back for. You can't do that, my sister hissed, standing up. Oh, I can. And I did. What are we supposed to do now? My brother finally spoke, wide-eyed. The trip is in 3 weeks. Figure it out, I said. You're so relaxed, remember? Manifest the money. You're acting like a child, Mom snapped. I looked straight at her. No, Mom. I've stopped acting like a wallet. Dad stood up, furious. You're being spiteful. No, I said, grabbing my keys. I'm being done. And just like that, I walked out, leaving them stunned in their designer chairs, wine glasses trembling, and Tuscany dreams suddenly unpaid for. They didn't just betray me. They planned it. Together. The night after the family vote, I didn't sleep. I lay awake in my apartment, staring at the ceiling, phone buzzing on the nightstand. My sister sent me 3 laughing emojis. I didn't respond. Around midnight, I got a text from my mother. Don't let this ruin everything. We still love you. You just made the trip difficult. Difficult? I paid for the trip. I planned it. I booked the 5-star villa with the pool and the chef and the vineyard tours, because they begged me to. And now I was the problem? But it was the next morning that everything truly unraveled. My cousin Maya called. We hadn't spoken in a while, mostly because my sister hated her and always made snide comments about how Maya didn't fit in. Hey, she said. I heard what happened. You okay? How did you hear? I asked, confused. There was a pause. They posted about it, she said. Posted where? Instagram. Jenny said you had a breakdown and canceled your own trip because you were jealous. I felt my blood run cold. What? She posted a boomerang of wine glasses clinking and captioned it. When the toxic one finally takes himself out, #reunion prep, #narcissist free. I was speechless. My family had voted me out of a trip I paid for, lied about it, and were now mocking me online. That's when I realized something much deeper was going on. You know, Maya continued. I wasn't going to say anything, but this isn't new. Jenny's been saying stuff about you for months. Like, nasty stuff. To everyone. Like what? She told people you were having money issues, that you begged to be included in the reunion, and that you threatened to cancel it if people didn't praise you more. I stood up from the couch, dizzy. She said what? Maya sounded awkward. She's been planting it everywhere. I think she's trying to isolate you. I hung up without saying goodbye. That same hour, I logged into my email. My flight itinerary was still there, the one I booked for the whole family. I opened it, hands trembling. Guess whose seat was upgraded to business class? My sister's. Not mine. Hers. I opened the reservation and nearly dropped my phone. She'd used my card again. 2 days ago. A quiet little charge, $1,500, slipped in while I was busy fighting with her over tension. That was the final straw. I called the airline. Hi, I said through gritted teeth. I'd like to cancel all 4 tickets under my last name. The woman on the line paused. All of them. Every last one. Especially the one that ends in seat 3A. That evening, I went to my parents' house. Not to argue. I needed to see their faces. When Mom opened the door, her smile faded fast. Oh, it's you. Don't act surprised, I said, stepping inside. You posted enough online to draw a crowd. She didn't deny it. I walked straight into the living room. My dad was there, reading the paper like it was 1985. Jenny sat with a laptop, browsing albums. You'll need a new card, I said. She looked up. What? The travel card? Blocked. The flights? Cancelled. The villa? Rebooked by another guest. Tuscany's off. You wouldn't, she spat. I did. You're sabotaging the whole trip. I laughed darkly. Oh, honey. You sabotaged it the second you cut me out of it. My father finally lowered his newspaper. Son, don't be rash. I turned to him slowly. Rash? You voted me out of my own trip, used my money, and then let her spread lies about me to the entire family. This isn't rash. This is justice. Justice. Jenny stood up, red-faced. You're unbelievable. You've always been bitter that I'm the one everyone listens to. Funny, I said, pulling a folded paper from my jacket. Because I just listened to your bank statement. I threw it onto the coffee table. Jenny's eyes widened. Where did you get that? On the card, I said. And I finally printed the last 90 days of transactions. Spa packages. Designer handbags. And oh, a non-refundable deposit for a private yacht in Positano? You were planning a side trip? Mom stood up. Let's all calm down now. Calm. I barked. You called me difficult because I asked for receipts. And meanwhile she's booking yachts on my account like she's royalty. My sister lunged forward, grabbing the statement and trying to tear it. You've gone too far, she said. No, I said. I'm free. She froze. What? I called the bank. Reported fraud. You've been using my card without permission. There's an investigation underway. You wouldn't dare, she hissed. I smiled coldly. I dare. And guess what? They have everything, timestamps, IP addresses, even delivery addresses. You're not just losing your vacation. You're about to lose your credit score. Get out, she screamed, face flushed. You're not part of this family anymore. Finally, I said. Something we agree on. I turned to the door, pausing just long enough to say one last thing. Good luck explaining to the relatives why you're not in Italy next month. And why the police might call. They thought they could humiliate me quietly. So I made noise. Loud, public, unforgettable noise. 1 week after I froze the travel card and canceled their dream vacation to Italy, I got a letter. Not a message, not a call, an actual letter. From a lawyer. At first, I thought it was a scam. But no, it was real. A formal legal notice, neatly printed and signed. On behalf of Mr. and Mrs. Walker and their daughter, Jennifer Walker. My own parents and sister had lawyered up against me. They were threatening legal action over the financial disruption I'd caused by withdrawing support at a critical time. I stood in my kitchen holding the paper, shaking with a mix of fury and disbelief. These people, my family, had used my money, my generosity, and when I set a boundary, they tried to sue me for it. I didn't reply. I didn't call. I made a plan. Saturday, 6 p.m., family dinner. The last one I'd ever attend. My dad opened the door and went pale the second he saw me. What are you doing here? He barked. I smiled. Oh, come on. You invited me. Didn't you read your own lawyer's letter? He stepped back but said nothing. Inside, everyone was already seated. My mom, Jenny, her boyfriend, my brother Liam, a couple of nosy aunts who loved gossip. Perfect. I walked in, set my tablet down on the coffee table, and plugged in the HDMI. Jenny rolled her eyes. What is this? Some dramatic stunt? Oh, just a little slideshow, I said cheerfully. Figured we could all be on the same page before you drag me to court. I swear to God, she started, but I hit play. The first slide, a screenshot of her using my card to upgrade her flight to business class. Next slide, a hotel receipt under my name, but her signature. $800 for a luxury suite. Then a video. Security footage of her checking in at a downtown hotel, laughing with her boyfriend, tapping my card. The room went dead quiet. What is this? My mom asked, voice low. Jenny stood up, snatched the tablet, but I already had the files backed up. This is a setup, she yelled. He's manipulating everything. I looked directly at her. Funny how the setup aligns perfectly with your exact spending history, down to the spa appointments and dinner reservations. You don't understand how stressed I've been, she snapped. You promised to help us. I stepped forward. I helped. I paid. I bled. You stole. My dad slammed his hand on the table. That's enough. You're destroying this family. I turned to him, eyes locked. You destroyed it the second you called a vote to exile me, then tried to sue me with the daughter who's been committing credit card fraud for months. I'm your father, and I'm done being your piggy bank. Jenny hissed through her teeth. You're pathetic. Oh, I'm just getting started. I pulled out the final document, a letter from the fraud department of my bank. Official notice of an open investigation into unauthorized charges made by Jennifer Walker. Dated, signed, sealed. Liam, who had stayed silent until now, leaned forward. You really filed that? I turned to him. Yes, and I gave her a week to pay it back. She didn't. She posted memes instead. Seriously, he whispered. Jenny turned to him. You're really going to take his side? He didn't answer. Jenny, I said, you used my name to book a yacht in Positano. You sent a laughing emoji when I got uninvited from the reunion. And now you're sitting here, acting like I betrayed you. We're family, my mom shrieked. No, I said coldly. We're users and givers. And I'm done being your givers. Jenny lunged forward like she was going to slap me. You're going to regret this. When your name's dragged through court, when everyone finds out. Finds out what? I snapped. That I paid for your entire lifestyle while you mocked me in group chats? That you committed fraud and then blamed me for reacting? My voice cracked, but I didn't back down. You treated me like a wallet. Not a brother. Not a son. Just a resource. Well, guess what? Resource, exhausted. Everyone froze. The air was thick with shame, fury, and disbelief. Then, the most shocking thing happened. Liam stood up. I'm done too, he said quietly. I've seen everything. The lies. The guilt trips. The gaslighting. I let it slide because I didn't want to rock the boat. He looked at me. But you did the right thing. Liam, my mom said, voice shaking, don't start. Don't start, he snapped. You people tried to erase him and steal from him. Then you act like he's the bad guy. Jenny turned to Liam, eyes wide. You're just jealous. You've always been jealous of me. Maybe, he said. But at least I didn't steal a yacht. That was it. I turned to the door, grabbed my coat. One more thing, I said. I canceled the phone plan, the Netflix account, the car insurance, all of it. If you want Tuscany, go earn it yourselves. Because this ATM is closed. Then I walked out. And this time, I didn't look back. They thought I'd fall apart. Instead, they did. The night after I walked out of that dinner. No, that battlefield. I didn't sleep. But not because I was anxious. I was alive. For the first time in my life, I wasn't the one apologizing, shrinking, second-guessing myself while everyone else made excuses. I stood up. I fought back. And I didn't flinch. And now, the dominoes started falling. Day 1, the silence. The next morning, my phone was strangely quiet. No you went too far messages. No guilt-tripping from mom. No desperate calls from dad. Just peace. I made coffee. I opened the windows. I turned on my favorite playlist and danced like someone who had burned the bridge and enjoyed the fire. But the silence wasn't going to last. At 3:42 p.m., it cracked. A message from Liam. They're freaking out. Mom's crying. Jenny's locked herself in her room. Dad says you destroyed the family. LOL. I smirked. Did you tell him I'm the one who paid to keep it afloat for the last 6 years? Liam replied with one word. Yup. Day 2. Public fallout. The next day, my inbox exploded, but not from my family. It was extended family. Cousins. Second cousins. Aunts I hadn't spoken to in years. Everyone had seen Jenny's now-deleted Instagram stories, the lawyer letter, the fraud claims, and they were pissed at her. "I'm so sorry. We had no idea what you were dealing with. I always knew something was off with Jenny. But this. If you need a place to stay, our guest room is open. You're not alone." One message stood out. It was from Aunt Clara, my mom's older sister, who had once disowned her over an inheritance fight 20 years ago. "You did what none of us ever had the courage to do. You stood up to her. I'm proud of you." I didn't even realize I was crying until I saw the teardrop hit my keyboard. Day 3, Jenny's collapse. I was at the gym, mid-rep, when Liam called. "She did it," he said. "Did what?" "She broke down. Like, full-on meltdown. Screaming at mom and dad. Threw a wine glass. Said it's all your fault because now the extended family is blacklisting her." I sat down on the bench, breathless. "She said what?" "She said you humiliated her, destroyed her image, and ruined her chances with Brian. You remember Brian? That dentist she's been stringing along." "Oh, yeah," I said. "Mr. Prenup." "Exactly. Word got out about the fraud thing. He cut her off cold. Told her he doesn't date criminals." I nearly choked from laughing. "She also screamed something about you being Grandma's favorite," Liam added. That shut me up. "What?" "Yeah. Apparently Grandma updated her will. Left you her house." I was silent. "She never told me," I whispered. "She told me last year," Liam said. "Said you were the only one who ever checked on her without asking for money. Said if she was going to leave anything behind, it was going to someone who didn't treat her like a vending machine." I didn't know what to say, so I said nothing, and just let the weight of that moment sink in. Day 5, the knock. I was working from home when someone knocked at my door. I looked through the peephole and nearly laughed. Dad. He stood there stiffly, like someone forced him to be there. I opened the door but didn't move aside. "Can I come in?" he asked. "No," I said simply. He flinched, then tried to smile. "I just wanted to talk." I leaned against the frame. "Now you want to talk?" He rubbed the back of his neck. "Look, your mom's not doing well. She hasn't eaten much since the dinner. And Jenny." "Dad," I said sharply, "if you're here to guilt-trip me, turn around. I'm done being the family apology." He blinked. "That's not fair." "No," I snapped. "What's not fair is how you let Jenny humiliate me, steal from me, lie to the entire family, and you backed her up like she was royalty. She's your sister. And I was your son." I barked. "I paid for your vacations. I covered bills when you said, money's tight. And all I ever got in return was side eyes and silence." He went quiet. "I didn't come here to argue," he said. "I just wanted to say we were wrong. All of us." I looked at him. "You let them erase me," I said. "And now that the money's gone, now that Jenny's exposed, now you remember who I am?" He didn't answer. But before he left, he asked, quietly, "Is there any chance we can fix this?" I didn't hesitate. "No." And I shut the door. Day 7, the shift. The next Sunday, I woke up late, brewed strong coffee, and opened my laptop. I wasn't thinking about Italy. I was thinking about Iceland. A solo trip. My way. No guilt. No expectations. Just me and the sky and the silence. I booked it. Then I opened my messages and saw one that stopped me in my tracks. It was from Jenny. Not a rant. Not an insult. Just, "You win. Hope you're happy." I stared at it for a while. And then I typed back. It wasn't about winning. It was about finally stopping the game. And I blocked her. The new normal. It's been weeks now. I moved to a new apartment. Bigger, brighter, and most importantly, mine. I changed my number. Closed all shared accounts. Got a new credit card. Set strict boundaries with everyone. Even Liam, who's still figuring himself out. And you know what? I don't miss them. Not the drama. Not the guilt. Not the never-ending script where I'm the selfish one, because I said no while they lived off my silence. I've got peace now. Real peace. And every time I get the urge to call or explain or go back, I ask myself, would you set yourself on fire again just to keep them warm? And the answer is always the same. No. They wanted to break me. Instead, I broke the cycle. I used to think that being the good one and the family meant always saying yes. Yes to paying. Yes to forgiving. Yes to being the quiet one while everyone else yelled. But the truth is, I was never the good one in their eyes. I was the useful one. And when I stopped being useful, I became the enemy. That realization hit me like a bullet one morning, 2 months after the dinner. I was on a hike, alone, standing on a cliffside overlooking the ocean. The wind whipped through my jacket. Waves crashed violently below. My phone buzzed in my pocket, one new voicemail. From my mother. We miss you. Jenny's been going to therapy. Your father barely speaks. Can't we just go back to the way things were? I laughed out loud. Back? Back to what? Back to being the silent sponsor of their lifestyle? Back to being mocked, manipulated, erased? Back to the version of myself who mistook being drained for being loved? No, never again. A week later, I got a letter. Handwritten. From Jenny. I don't expect you to forgive me. I just want you to know I've lost everything. Brian. My job. My friends. Mom says you're happier without us, and I think she's right. But it still hurts. I don't even know who I am anymore. She enclosed a check for $7,000. I stared at it. Not because I needed the money. I'd already rebuilt more than they'd ever taken, but because it symbolized something bigger. Accountability. I didn't cash it. I mailed it back with one line written on the envelope. You can't buy peace with money. I learned that the hard way. But the final closure came weeks later. Out of nowhere. I was at a bookstore, flipping through a novel when I heard a voice behind me. Hey, is your name Walker? I turned. A woman stood there, maybe in her 30s, holding a toddler. I'm sorry, she said quickly. I think you helped my sister once. A few years ago. With rent. She said your family turned on you. I blinked. Yeah? She told me about you. She said, he showed me what boundaries look like. The woman smiled. Just wanted to say thanks. That's it. And then she walked away. I stood there, frozen, heart hammering. A stranger. Someone I didn't even remember helping. And yet, my story had traveled. My strength had echoed. Not in headlines. Not in drama. But in quiet transformation. So here's the truth I wish someone had told me years ago. You don't owe anyone your destruction. Not for love. Not for loyalty. Not even for blood. Family is not who you're born to. It's who respects you when you say enough. And me? I said it. I meant it. And I never looked back. Final line. I am not their ATM. Not their scapegoat. Not their safety net. I am free. And I will never pay for my own silence again.